She ignored him until she saw him again 2 months later. The second encounter was at Grand Hustle Studios. The same security guard grabbed her up, put a gun to her head. He then blindfolded her, put her in his car, and drove her 20 to 40 minutes into Georgia. He raped her 3 times within that 24-hour window, drove her back to the studio the following day, gun-butted her, and threatened to kill her if she spoke. Shortly after, she received a call from T.I. threatening her to never come near his studio again. Jane Doe 4, various dates of occurrences and incidences with Tiny and T.I. First started in 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2015. She was forced to take ecstasy, Molly, painkillers, and other drugs. This caused her to have an addiction. The location of this incident was Atlanta, Georgia. The majority of the incidents were in Atlanta, Georgia, I should say, because she traveled with them throughout the United States. Jane Doe 4 was a teenage friend of Tiny. And in 2005, Ms. Harris approached her to work as her assistant. She was never paid or compensated for any of the work she completed. On one occasion, T.I. stood over her and Tiny stood close by. And T.I. forced her to open her mouth and swallow 8 ecstasy pills. Throughout the duration of her time with Tiny and T.I., the duo forced her to engage in sexual acts with different women and men against her will. Jane Doe 5, date of the incident, October 2017, location, Atlanta, Georgia. Jane Doe 5 there, and she needed to keep the encounter confidential. She was forced to take drugs and engage in unwanted sexual acts with other women. She had her cell phone and belongings taken or was held against her will for 3 days. This is the end of the sample summaries, and I will turn this over to Erica to field the questions.
Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Taisha.
So, is there any reason why some of the people waited so long to come forward?
Of course. The thing is, these women are not a monolith, so I don't want to couple them or put them all into one group. They all have various reasons why they took so long to come out. One of the reasons that I've heard from all of the women was the fact that they didn't think anyone would believe them. Second reason is that fear. T.I. is an individual with a well-known past for violence. T.I. is an individual who has a long history of intimidation. And the final reason is that it's easier to come out when there are other women who have similar stories to stand with you. It is very difficult to come out and stand alone. And that's what these women expressed.
Did what made them feel comfortable now was Sabrina Peterson coming forward?
Yes, Sabrina Peterson opened up the door for them and gave them courage to come forward. Sabrina Peterson's post and the fact that she shared multiple stories from other victims gave them courage to come forward, because from what I gathered from them, they learned and they discovered at that point in time that they were not the only ones. So whatever was playing in their minds, making them think that, doubting whether or not this even happened to them, questioning their own judgment for being in those spaces, questioning their judgment for even trusting Tiny, because for a lot of these situations, Tiny was